Good morning, Living Hope. Wanted to take another opportunity to give you a few updates on things that are going on. And with that, I guess I couldn't resist the temptation to do a little bit of teaching and preaching this morning. It is Tuesday morning. I guess you have the advantage of being able to look at the video length and see how long-winded I will be or won't be. And I guess at this point, I don't even know yet. I guess just a couple things quick, though, that I've been thinking a lot about over the last even few months, but again this weekend, and I've shared it with you before, but just the amazing gift that we have that our minds are able to choose what they think about. That we have the ability to choose what we set our minds on. And that idea is throughout the Bible. But we can choose what we think about or what we don't think about. We can focus our attention on an idea or a picture or a problem or a hope. That we have the ability, the capacity in our minds to choose what we think about. In just example, if I say to you right now, in this video, there is a bear wearing a hat and sunglasses. Immediately, all of you look up, in case you didn't see it, and start thinking about a bear wearing a hat and sunglasses. You are able to set your mind on that. Even the fact that you're watching this video, you chose to set your mind on this video. You're choosing, hopefully, to set your mind on the things that I'm sharing with you. And I just thought, just keep being amazed at what an amazing gift this is and what an amazing weapon this is against sin in our lives, whether it's anxiety or depression or just worries or fears, or whether it's lusting and temptations and addictions. One of the biggest weapons we have is what we set our minds on. And that idea, that truth is throughout the Bible. And just a couple places in Romans 8, verses 5 and 6, it says, "For those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh. But those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on the things of the Spirit. For to set the mind on the flesh is death, but to set the mind on the Spirit is life and peace." And that's just such an amazing thing, that what we choose to set our minds on is the difference between life and death. In Colossians, and I believe I had read this for the Easter service, in Colossians 3, it says, "If then you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. For you have died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is your life, appears, then you also will appear with him in glory. Set your minds on things that are above, not things that are on the earth." And Hebrews talks about this as well. And one of the most amazing things we can set our minds on is Jesus himself. To some degree, we've been given minds so we can set our minds on Jesus. In verse 3 of Hebrews 12, it says, "Consider him," talking about Jesus. So set your mind on Jesus, who endured from sinners such hostility against himself, so that you may not grow weary or faint-hearted. So it says, consider Jesus, set your mind on Jesus, so that you may not grow weary or faint-hearted. Do you see again how what we set our minds on is a weapon against growing weary or faint-hearted? It's a weapon against sin in our lives. It's a weapon against anxiety and fears in our life if we set our minds on things that are above. So I just encourage us that we continue to use that amazing gift of our minds and choose what we set our minds on. And even all the time in life, but especially during a time like this, it would be so easy to set our minds on all the negative things, all the things we can't do, all the things this virus is taking away from us maybe, or the problems that it's causing in our lives. And all those are real, and it's not that we ignore them, but if we choose to set our minds on all those negative things, our heart will start feeling negative. It'll start feeling anxious and depressed and worried. But if we set our minds on what Christ has accomplished, what Christ has done, set our minds on our living hope that's kept in heaven for us, that's secure in heaven, our heart we'll be able to endure these times, but even in that, it'll start being filled with a peace and a joy that only comes from setting our minds on things that are above. So just a couple things that I wanted just to update everyone on and kind of keep us on the same page in a way to keep us connected with what's going on. Basically concerning the property, Jonathan, Tammy, the previous owners are on their way to Kentucky now. So the house is vacant, the property is vacant. So with that, I've been communicating a little bit with the council, and we'll continue on just kind of the next steps for that. Nothing huge at this point, but things like getting things cleaned up and, throwing anything away that we don't want there, getting the property cleaned up, the land and the house and how that'll look. And Lois suggested the idea of coming up with a list of all the minor things at this point that need to be done that could be cleaned up and then having people sign up, and then again scheduling when people will be there or not, so we can keep our social distancing at this point. So hopefully within the next week or so, maybe we'll have at least a little list of things that could be done on the property. If anyone has spare time that they would like to do some cleaning or maybe some yard work, we'll see what all of that looks like. So that'll continue to move forward there, and a lot of this is in hopes that we can, again, once the social distancing is done and we can get back together to maybe use it for Bible studies or prayer meetings or some events this summer. So hoping that we can start working on some things there to get ready for that. The community garden is something that we want to continue to move forward with. With that, hopefully this weekend we'll have an area picked out for that to go. Daryl has agreed to spray that to kill off the grass. Joe Woodrick has contacted me and is willing to take care of tilling up that ground to get it ready for planting. And hopefully within the next few weeks, the weather will cooperate and we'll be able to get some stuff in the ground. And again, we'll keep updated and again, a schedule of what that'll look like, at least through until we can all get back together. And I guess one other thing is I plan on, doing the message recordings from the property at this point. Just another way to use what God has blessed us with and to keep that vision of Watson in front of us. And then as well, if you haven't noticed it yet or went there yet, on the website under the resources tab is the new reading plan for about the next month. We'll be reading through Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther. So I encourage you to continue to do that together as a church, as well as to continue to pray 7:07 in the morning, at night, to pray for each other, to pray for the Watson, the vision there, pray for the property, wisdom with that we continue to use what God has blessed us with for His glory, His purposes. And I continue to pray for each one of you that you would be blessed, that we would all draw closer to God through this time, that we'd be able to even use this opportunity to draw closer to God, that maybe it would slow us down a little bit just to really reflect on the blessings that God has given us. So thank you guys for your continued support and prayer, and God bless you.